there supposed to be like a big noise when we go live, or?
Yeah, are we playing the drop?
we will, yes.
Is it the new
By the way,
drop?
I love the title. I love the title.
I think it's a good. Oh God, is this crashing on me already?
That was a good show, guys. Good job.
What is happening?
Can I go back to sleep?
I don't even know.
This is my plot to for James. Not responding. All right, let me restart this up. So what else is going on, gentlemen?
Eli's coming back.
Yeah, man. Eli Manning. Should I save it for the stream?
Wait, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want to use my top-notch stuff.
Wait,
No,
hold on.
don't
There's a
go off yet.
possibility that the computer has resurrected. Hold on.
Two eyes.
Can you hear?
Because, to quote Chris Berman, I know because I was there.
Oh.
I saw the whole thing live.
Gentlemen, we are live. We are streaming.
Nice.
It's an
Play the drop.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Is it the new drop?
No, it's not the new drop yet. I keep on getting.
Oh, we're
It's coming in 3 days.
we want the new drop.
Yeah, well, we'll
All
Maybe
right.
old drop.
All right.
old drop time.
Old drop.
Welcome to the Bleedbigblue podcast, dedicated coverage of the New York Football Giants by your hosts, Marco, Trifecta, T. Merritt, and JBW.
What is going on? Good evening, Bleedbigblue Nation. This is Marco talking. We have a full crew, full cast here tonight. I have J Money on the line. I have Tim A, and I have
What's up?
good old Captain. What is today? Today's the 28th of November.
Yes, it is.
It is. We are streaming to you live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Just keep it simple, those four. I got the alerts on, so if you while you're on YouTube, you'll get a little shout out going on.
I want to wish Giants fans a happy anniversary.
Oh, really?
Today is the 10-year anniversary of when a young Plexico Burris shot himself in the leg, backed himself into a hospital under a fake name of Harrison Smith, and torpedoed the last great team that we ever had, a team that was 11-1. Your 2008-2009 New York Football Giants. Happy anniversary!
Also a year ago today that it was announced that Eli Manning was being benched for Geno Smith.
Yeah, it's a red letter day in the history of the New York Giants.
And now today we find out that Eli may be coming back next year. Hooray. Hurrah.
I think we said
Captain's going rogue.
that we were going to give James the floor to start. I'm afraid to do it because
I'd like to welcome back all of the Giant fans, to welcome them back to reality, who thought that because we beat the 49ers and the Bucks, we were running the table. So all of those guys that were out there on that running the table limb, congratulations, welcome back. Nice to have you. Join us here in reality. It was a shame that you left for so long. How you guys doing? Are you okay? Then the division is out of our grasp. Are you guys all right? I know you were buying in.
Yeah.
The Kool-Aid was there.
Hold on.
You were right there. Tim was sipping.
First of all, the Kool-Aid was absolutely there, and we were stopping them in the first half. So
Great, Tim. That's awesome.
you know what? And Eli's first half proved to me that he should be back next year.
Yeah, Tim, you can't tell me you're not serious.
No, I'm not serious.
Good, all right, because the throw at the end of the first half
funniest
was
thing I ever
absolutely
heard-
the worst.
First thing I heard at the end of the game, then there's like, I hope Eli's got enough arm to get down there for the Hail Mary. And one of the guys like, no, he doesn't.
No, listen. I have so much to say. First of all, for those that don't know, that listen to the podcast, Bleedbigblue was represented in Philadelphia on Sunday. The wife and I, or Demi Lovato as she's known on the show, went to the game. We had tickets right below the press box. So I was front and center, gentlemen, for the disaster that was this game. And just to piggyback off of something that James said, because it's a good place to start, that throw at the end of the first half, I don't know how it looked on TV because I didn't bother
Just
to
as
watch
bad
the
as
game.
it looked in person.
Oh,
But
horrible.
in person, when you watched it, like, I knew immediately that he threw the ball 2 seconds late. And Malcolm Jenkins, you know, he's made a career in the NFC East of duping Eli. And it wasn't the first time that he did it in the game. Malcolm Jenkins made the play on the 2-point conversion, which, not to jump the shark too early, but what the hell does Aldrich Rosas have to do to get the coach to believe that he can kick an extra point? Listen, the 2-point conversion was cute in Atlanta. We'll give you a one-time pass. But 2 in a row, come on, man. What are you doing? Full frittata for Pat Shermer. Welcome to the club.
Vagina.
Totally agree. I had every problem with the 2-point conversion. Eli was in the same Eli that loves to frustrate us at the end of the half. Absolutely no reason to force that. Points were at a premium, and we wasted it. You know, if we just got a field goal, there's a good chance we won that game. But it is here nor there. I mean, it's as far as Eli coming back next year, I don't believe it till I see it. I really think he's gonna retire. If you want my honest opinion,
I don't think he should retire. No, I called it 3 weeks ago. I said, "Don't be surprised," right? And then this report comes out. Did you see Pat Leonard, who I know all the Giant fans hate, but I love him. Did you see what he said on the SNY show? He said that there's a better chance that Manning outlasts Olivier Vernon and Odell Beckham Jr.
Well, Olivier Vernon should be gone next year anyway. You don't pay $19 million for no sacks.
Pat Leonard he also might be a full frittata.
I don't think so. He's been pretty spot on.
Listen. Pat.
He's been
Pat
pretty
and I
spot on.
Pat and I have a mutual acquaintance, and let's just leave it at that.
No, I have he actually gets coffee. He lives like in the same neighborhood as my cousin. And they get coffee at 7-Eleven all the time. My cousin is delusional as well.
The Quickie Mart from Apu.
Could be. But they get coffee. They bullshit every now and again. I bust my cousin's chops. I'm like, go ask your buddy Pat. Pat's been spot on. Giant fans don't like what Pat has to say, but Pat's been right.
Are we gonna chat about? Are we moving now? Are we progressing to what we're doing in the off season, or are we still complaining about the Eagles game? Because I have a few other things to discuss.
Go ahead. Go with the Eagles game. Stay with
the Eagles game.
All right.
Number 2, and again, I mean,
I'm waiting for it.
I can't explain to you, and don't cut me off and say what you're going to say, Dave. Just let me make my
You know what
point.
I'm going to say, but go ahead. You know what I'm going to say, but go ahead.
I can't explain to you the level. Like, when you watch Saquon Barkley in person, he's quicker, he's faster, and he's stronger than everybody else on the field. And every time that he touched the ball, like in the first half, the air went out of the Philadelphia Stadium because they knew that we couldn't defend him, or they couldn't defend him. So my question is this, okay? I watched the first Giants-Eagles game. I saw what Saquon Barkley did there. He dominated that game. He set NFL records that game. The first half of this game, he was a force to be reckoned with.
He tied the NFL record for NFL touchdowns by a rookie in a season.
He was a force to be reckoned with. So even if you take the direct results of play against the Eagles out of it, let's rewind to last week. What happened last week? Anybody remember? I remember 27 carries, 147 some odd yards, and 3 touchdowns. And we won the game. Listen, I'll defend it until I die, because I still think that given the situation and given the talent that was available in the draft, that Saquon Barkley will end up being the correct choice for the Giants if they thought that Eli had something left. Now, they might have been wrong on that. They might have been wrong on the fact that Eli has anything left. But if you're going to take Saquon Barkley at 2, if you're going to do it, which I support, then you have to treat him from a game plan and strategy standpoint as the number 2 pick. He is the best and most talented player on the field every time that he's on the field. Give him the damn ball. Just give him the ball. Listen, he should touch the ball 25 times a game minimum. That should be no questions asked. And then if we're really trying to force our will on people, he gets the ball 35 to 40 times. But
I think it's so
tell
funny.
Pat Germer to get his head out of his ass and give the ball to Saquon Barkley.
I think it's so funny, guys. I really do, and I love how passionate you are, and you still don't get it. Like, for everything that Saquon Barkley is, okay, he's not a quarterback, and that's the bottom line. And Saquon Barkley is going to destroy the record this year. Destroy the record for touchdowns as a rookie. Destroy it. And we have 3 wins and we're averaging 16 points a game. So he's not a quarterback. It's not even for everything he is. It's the one thing that he isn't.
One quick question.
And if you're going to tell me, and here's the other thing, and I'll let you go, Tim. But here's the other thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and this is what I don't understand that so many people don't get. Right? Go look at the drives that everybody is saying. First of all, the Eagles dominated the time of possession during the time that people are saying that he didn't touch the ball. They had a couple of penalties on the one drive. He got a carry on 3rd and 18, which was a throwaway play. On the other possession, I think they had 3 incomplete passes. And in the possession sandwiched in between them was the Gallman possession. Are you going to tell me that with those cornerbacks that were on the field, Eli Manning needs the rookie on the field to be able to go up and down and score points, and you still can't see the problem?
But why? And Tim, I'm not going to take up a lot of time here. The question that I would ask on top of that is why do we have Wayne Gallman possession? Listen, that Wayne Gallman possession. So the score of the game at halftime was 19-11. We kicked the ball off to the Eagles, and we stopped them that first drive of the second half. They punted it back to us. We did a 3-and-out. We punted it back to them, and they took it down and kicked a field goal. At that point, the score of the game was 19-14. If I'm an NFL head coach, if I'm an offensive coordinator, I know that when the score is 19-14 and we just punted on our last possession, that we need points. And if we need points, then I sure as hell want my best players on the field, and that includes Saquon Barkley, whether you like the pick or not.
But he was on the field for that next possession.
He was not. That was.
And they had three. They had three incomplete. They had 3 incomplete passes after the Gallman possession. He was on the field.
No. The Gallman possession happened when the score of the game was 19-14.
Okay, so then when they got the ball back, they threw the 3 incomplete passes when he was on the field?
That's correct.
There was one possession where they threw 3 incompletions in a row.
Yeah, that was going the other way. That was at the start of the fourth quarter.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's okay. All right. Still though. But there's the problem, guys. The end of the first half, the quarterback makes a horrible decision. To start the second quarter with Gallman in the game, to me, that's not a negative that says the possession is off and that automatically we're not going to score points. Like if your quarterback is competent with the cornerbacks that they were playing, you should not have a problem being able to at least move the ball a little bit. Wayne Gallman and Barkley even when Le'Veon Bell was getting 33 carries a game, James Conner played and got 6 to 7 carries a game. I don't have a problem where if Barkley had 15 carries in the first half and you have the lead and you think that you're hoping to be able to sustain the lead and you're going to give him a big workload in the fourth quarter, that because of the way the first couple of possessions went, that you're going to try to steal a possession with Gallman. You're paying your quarterback $22 million. The Eagles' cornerbacks they don't even know what defense they're playing. And you can't move the ball. You can't move the ball. And even with Barkley in the game, they're averaging 16 points a game.
Tim,
in the NFL today,
I know you have something to say.
When two teams play against each other, in all the other games in the league that have been played this year, do you know the average amount of points totaled in those games? 48. No! So two teams playing against each other in every other game have averaged 48 points. The Giants are averaging 16.
Okay, this is what I'm going to restate some of my comments that we've made over on Twitter. If you want to see our little arguments, you check out. You check them out anytime. But my question is this: if we drafted a quarterback, we'd still be in the same situation. Other than we'd have no running game. We'd have no running game. And I'm going to tell you exactly how.
How?
How many wins does Sam Darnold have?
The same amount as we do.
Okay. So how many wins does any of the rookie quarterbacks have?
Probably less.
Exactly.
Except for Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's doing pretty well so far.
Well, Lamar Jackson did okay, but he's only started 2 games.
And he's 2-0.
But the problem is we're complaining about essentially going to be the offensive rookie of the year, drafting him at number 2.
I'm not complaining about it. I'm stating the fact that it doesn't matter.
They thought he likes to have more in the tank. I did as well. At least I can see if we have another season, but I can literally see his arm just dropped off. Like he's got like 20 plus yards on his throw now.
I hate to say I told you so.
But it is what it is, you know. But now we have a nice situation. We have a top running back. We have a top receiver. You bring in a quarterback.
You don't win with either of those.
But hold on a second.
You don't win with a good receiver or a good running back. That doesn't make no sense.
You don't.
That doesn't make no sense. No,
you don't.
So what do you do?
They're not essential to winning in the NFL. They're not. And look around the league and look around the friggin' league.
I hate to bring it to you, and I will bring it down because let's put every quarterback has somebody to throw to.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Every quarterback.
And the great quarterbacks, it doesn't matter. You could rotate the fucking guys in.
You tell us the Ben Roethlisberger who has Antonio Brown.
Hold on.
You tell us the Matt Ryan who has Julio Jones.
Over the years, it's not like he only played with Antonio Brown.
You tell us Tom Brady who had Gronkowski.
Go tell him when he had early in his career, we had David Patton.
And you know what? And he didn't do shit to win those Super Bowls. It was all defense.
Yeah, right. You know, he didn't do anything to win the Super Bowls. Come on, man. Man. If you want to talk, let's have a legitimate conversation, man.
In the first few ones.
A quarterback is supposed to raise the level of play around him, not the other way around. I'm sorry.
No,
it's the God's honest truth. And you had a chance last year. Where there were guys sitting there, or you could have traded back, or you could have made a move and you could have built the roster, and they didn't. And they took a position that is completely useless to winning football games in the NFL.
It's not useful.
And you're looking at it right now in front of your face, and you're arguing against it. And I told you last year in the offseason, you guys are going to love the highlights and all the yards, and it's going to be so much fun, and there's not going to be many wins.
But you
don't get it.
You don't get how is the running back? Let's put it this way: there isn't one player team. This isn't basketball. You need the help, regardless.
Tim, you took the words right out of my mouth.
You need 53 guys. You need depth in the offensive line. You need depth on the defensive line. You need depth in the secondary. You need depth at linebacker in today's NFL. You need a quarterback who's not retarded and doesn't make bad reads at the end of the first half and who lifts the play around him. You need a tight end that can catch. You need wide receivers that do more playing than opening their friggin' mouths. You got a lot of problems on this roster, gents, and it's staring you in the face. But have fun with your toys.
Other than the quarterback, you know what? Gentleman missed. Gentleman said, hey, I think you guys got another year. He was wrong. Okay. So we fixed that problem.
Tim, it's not easy. It's easier to fix the running back problem than it is to fix the quarterback problem.
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that statement.
Look around the league. Okay, now I know what Barkley's doing, and tip of the cap, Saquon. You're a great player. No one ever said you weren't going to be phenomenal talent. We knew you were going to be all you cracked up to be. We've been more. Because I didn't think he was going to be able to run yards after contact, and he's been doing it. He's proved me fucking wrong in that respect.
I was saying the same thing,
it's
James.
Still the wrong pick.
I was with you all the way through the draft. It was I did not see Saquon being this good. And I was absolutely wrong.
God will love him, and he's still this good. But look around the league, gentlemen, at what some of the running backs that are doing that are not being paid $8 to $9 million a year. And ask yourself if less the production at running back, okay, if you can make that up somewhere else. It's a running back, guys. There's quarterbacks running up and down the league with Smallwoods and Clements and committees left and right, Max and Naheem Hines. And I mean, are you kidding me?
But here's the deal, though. And when you take Saquon, you took essentially he's going to be offensive rookie of the year. You took the safest player that you knew was going to be good instead of taking a risk. Because the fact is, if you take a wrong quarterback, that sets you back 5 years.
Do you guys honestly think? Do you guys? Because here's the end of the conversation. The end of the conversation is: do you honestly think that Gettleman and them weren't sold on one of the quarterbacks, or do you think that they had their tail between their legs because it was mandated when they got their jobs that they had to keep Eli Manning? Because that's the end of the conversation right there. Because if you honestly think that they weren't sold on one of those kids coming out, then I don't know what you're even talking about.
They could have kept.
The big picture.
They could have. They still.
The rest of the league was sold on everybody.
Let's talk about let's talk about the kids. Listen, this is a question that I want to ask you, and I want to ask it to you in this way. All right? So I understand that if you had your druthers, you would have rather traded back.
Yes.
Right? So you're going to trade back. You're going to end up, and if you trade back, you're going to end up with, because you're not going to trade back to 3 because the Jets just traded up there, and the Browns had 4. So if you trade back, you are sacrificing Saquon Barkley. You're not getting it. So he's off the table.
And I'm fine with that because I'll get a running back with one of the 4 or 5 picks I've accumulated.
Okay, that's fine.
I need linemen. I need defensive linemen. I need cornerbacks. Do you see what I'm saying? Last year, and you know me. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I like Darnold.
But Darnold's a piece of crap. He hasn't done.
No, he's not.
Jack shit.
No, he's not. You can't judge a guy. You can't. If you're judging any of these quarterbacks off the first 11 games, you're missing it still.
Darnold, listen. Darnold has the same problems that Eli has. He's turnover prone.
I bet the Jets would trade those 2 problems for Super Bowls.
Poor judgment. Are you
Well,
kidding me?
Darnold's already missed more games than Eli already had in his 15 years career.
Because there are people within the Jets organization that have gone on record saying that Sam Darnold has regressed since they picked him. And they don't know if Todd Bowles is to blame of that or if the quarterback is to blame for that. So
as far as that goes, I will put it this way: it's early to pile on Darnold. It absolutely is early, or any of the really young quarterbacks. It is early to pile on.
But we knew that was going to happen. The running backs step into the league and play right away all the time. It's the easiest position for a guy to step in and play right away. Running back, take the ball and run.
So you don't get the running back at 2, all right?
Okay.
So that's fine. So and now you've traded back. So let's say you got Denver to trade up, and let's just say for shits and giggles,
at 5.
You're at let's just say
you're 5.
That so Denver moves up to 2, and they take. Let's say they take Rosen.
Go ahead. I was going to say that as well because it just fits the argument. Go ahead.
Because Mayfield's off the board. All right?
Yep. And then Mayfield, and then Darnold goes to the Jets, and then
goes to the Jets.
Browns take Barkley.
Barkley goes to the Browns. So then you're sitting at 5. You take
Chubb or Nelson.
You take Chubb or Nelson, and then at 2. So let's say they're not going to take. Let's say they don't take Nelson because they just don't do it, right?
Let's say they take Bradley Chubb. I'm on. If you told me that they would have traded back to 5 and gotten Chubb and picks, I'm on. Yeah.
So they take Chubb, and then at the bottom of the first round, we still have the run-on running backs.
But hold on, and we're talking about Bradley Chubb, not Nick Chubb, before the fucking Giant fans go crazy. No one is saying we would have taken Nick Chubb at 5.
That's
Bradley
correct.
Chubb.
Bradley Chubb.
Okay, let's just get that out in the open before people go crazy.
For those on YouTube that might be related to J-Zack, we're talking about Bradley Chubb, not Nick Chubb. All right? So now we have Bradley Chubb. There's a run-on running back at the bottom of the first round. The Giants went into last offseason knowing that they wanted to take a running back in the draft. So now the running back is starting to go. They're taking a running back with that second-round pick, which means that now you have Eli Manning, Bradley Chubb,
and probably Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb was the top of first.
So you have both Chubbs. We're a double Chubb.
Or
You still
Jewess.
have-
Could have ended up with Jewess.
Yeah, and it was okay. And he tears his ACL.
Could have. You didn't
on
know.
the carry.
Oh yeah. So you. Well, I mean, can we not just pretend like we can predict injuries? Like if you're talking about the draft at the time, and that was a scenario, if that would have happened, and we would have walked away with a bevy of picks, Bradley Chubb and Jewess in early in the second round, we all would have been going apeshit crazy.
But
We
you
would have
also-
loved it.
I did. I was hoping for double Chubb. I'm not gonna lie. I was
But
hoping for
you
double
still don't.
Chubb.
My point is,
We still wouldn't have had the quarterback.
My point in outlining that is that your whole issue here is that you don't take a running back at 2 because that's
Go
where you
ahead.
take a quarterback. But we
Go
still
ahead.
don't. In that scenario, we still don't have the quarterback.
Right. You're right.
We
You want to
still
know
have
why
the
I'm
quarterback.
okay with that?
And-
Because we've recognized. But hold on, Justin. Because let me explain why I'm okay with that. And why that would have been fine. Because if that's the case, then you're recognizing that the roster is in full rebuild. And you've traded back because you know you have to accumulate picks to build the roster. And at that point, if you're doing your job as a general manager, you don't want to
So that's
force
my
anything.
follow-up question. So what you're telling me, James, is that you're okay with losing as long as we know before the season that we're going to be losers.
I told you that we were going to lose before the season. So I wasn't okay with it, and I told you it was going to happen. What I'm saying is when the general manager can come out with a plan that makes sense and say that the roster is broken, we have to rebuild it. I could recognize that it's not going to be done in a year. And I would also recognize the fact that they probably shouldn't have cut Webb in that situation, and they would have probably have brought Eli back. And then they could have had the same situation with Webb and whatever quarterback they drafted later, where then you go to that kid and you see if you have something there before you move on to the next season. All knowing that you still have the picks and you're building talent. You're not winning with this roster. You have to accumulate talent across the board. So if you were going to punt knowing for the quarterback, knowing that you had – I don't understand how you don't get it, buddy.
The problem is, so you have the Chubbs, and you still don't have the replacement for the quarterback, which you think is the key part.
How
of
many
any
other
rebuild
picks did I get? Maybe I took Lamar Jackson with one of the other picks that I got. Can I take Lamar Jackson with one of the other picks I got when I traded back?
You also don't have the running back.
What do you mean I don't have a running back? I can get a running back. I can get a running back. What do you fucking mean? I can get a running back anywhere.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. We don't have an offensive lineman, so we don't have Will Hernandez, and there was also a
But why not, Justin? Why Justin? When I traded 2, I didn't lose picks. I accumulated picks. So what you're doing is you're only giving me the same picks that the Giants had. You're not taking into consideration the picks that I gained. Besides Bradley Chubb. So what other picks did I get late in the first round or in the second round that came back to me? Where are my other Denver picks that I got? Because what if I would have taken? What if I could have moved some of those picks? What if I could have moved some of those picks and moved up and got myself Lamar Jackson late in the first round? How's my draft look then?
That's assuming that somebody wants to make that deal.
No, Justin, you have to have the picks and the balls to go get the deal done.
That's why you're going to tell me later on in the show that we should trade Odell Beckham for 2 first-round picks.
No, I should trade Odell Beckham Jr. because you're not going to win with him and he's a cancer.
Which, let me tell you, you trade Odell Beckham even for 2 first-round picks, you're getting pennies on the dollar.
I'll take it.
And you might as well.
Sold.
You might as well prepare yourself to lose for the next decade.
I disagree. And I heard the same thing when Tiki Barber left. And the next year I was dousing myself in champagne. So sometimes in football it's addition by subtraction. And you could lose a big mouth and get better as a team. And that's a fact. And there's no debate.
If I'm Odell Beckham, I'm screaming at the top of my lungs too. Because
I want him out. Go. Take care. Go. Bye-bye.
Because they targeted him minimal amount of times against rookie corners.
You're going to come out and say we're going to run the table, and then the minute we lose a game, you're going to throw somebody else under the bus? You punk.
He can't control how many targets he gets.
First of all, when he was talking, but instead of saying we're going to run the table, how about we have 8 games left, And it's a one-game season. And at 1-7, we can't be worrying about running the table. We have to focus on the next opponent. And we have to win this game in front of us.
Let me ask you this.
And then the minute you lose a game because you beat the Bucks and the Niners and you can dance around against the Bucks and the Niners, even though you're up 17 and won the game by 3 up the skin of your teeth, then you got to come back the next week because you lose a tough game on the road against the Eagles. No, I'm not saying it is, but shut your mouth.
Let's put it this way. So did you have a problem with Aaron Rodgers, who did the exact same thing this week? Who's it literally like where we got to win every game?
No. Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of the team.
No one has a problem with Aaron Rodgers, even though he's the certified punk. Because Aaron Rodgers
if it was Eli saying that, I wouldn't have a problem with it either.
But Aaron Rodgers is supposed to catapult everybody up to being better, and he's only got one.
Yeah, you're right.
No,
you're 100% right. I don't have him in one of my top 7 or 8, like Jay thinks he's the greatest quarterback. You don't have to make a case for. I think he's tremendously talented. I'm not a huge Rodgers fan.
Who ripped apart one of his players?
I love when they rip apart their players. I love when a quarterback rips apart his players. Loves it. Blast them. Put them on notice. Call them out. I love it. Be a fucking leader. Run the team. It's your team. You're the quarterback. I don't want to hear it from a receiver. I don't want to hear it from a running back. I don't want to hear it from a cornerback. I want my quarterback to be that guy. I want my quarterback to be that guy.
That's an outdated mindset, my friend.
It's an outdated mindset, but you know what? It works. It works.
An outdated mindset.
I don't see all these diva wide receivers. Name to me how many won Super Bowls. I saw Super Bowls won with Stephen Baker. I saw Super Bowls won with Lionel Manuel. I saw Super Bowls won with guys like Amani Toomer.
Different ballgame.
I mean, I don't really know that it is. I don't really know that it is.
I saw Keyshawn win a Super Bowl with Tampa. And he was pretty much a diva.
Did he not conform on that team?
No, because he got cut a year later.
But for that team, for that year, did he not conform to the offense, to Brad Johnson, to what they were doing, to the defense, to the ball control?
I've never seen someone complain about Odell so much when he's done nothing. He's done nothing.
He hasn't done much winning.
It's not his. He's not a one-man team.
I'm just saying.
What's frustrating about
Eli? You blame it on Odell. Is it Odell's fault that Eli can't throw more than 30 yards?
Yeah, exactly.
No, Odell is his own. The talent was never. Guys, separate the talent from the fact that the guy's a fucking head case. Just separate the two. Just because they're two different things.
Hold on a second.
I don't know what head case you're talking about. Like, what's he doing? What's he done?
Just go back. I'm not even gonna name. I can go back and do the. I can do the laundry list again. But go back from day one and with all the shit that this kid has done, and he's still opening his mouth. Still.
The media's
you guys just got short memories.
The media sits around him all day long. He's just supposed to be a mute all day.
Be a man.
He gets home.
You could say things without saying things. Derek Jeter did it for years.
Derek Jeter's a punk.
Jimmy, hold on just a second.
You can say things without saying things. Justin, how come it's with this kid every fucking week it's something?
Jimmy, you know that I love you, and you know that you're my brother from another mother. And
I'm embarrassed that he's in my jersey. I'll tell you that. I'm embarrassed.
But listen to me when I tell you, you have a mouth on you that is similar to Odell Beckham Jr.'s.
I don't play for the New York Football Giants. Big difference.
If you were in the same scenario and something was not right, and
I was a leader of that team, I would handle it completely different. I would handle it in the locker room. I wouldn't bitch to the press. You're 100% wrong. Okay, and if you know me, okay, you know that if I was on a team, and if I was on I can sit here from afar, okay, as a fan and have an opinion about a team. It's different when I'm on the team. I can sit here from afar. And when I'm on the team, and I was a quarterback on the team, and I was the leader on the team, then I didn't do shit like that, nor would I.
All I know is that Odell Beckham Jr. had the ball thrown to him once in the second half before there were 19 seconds left in the ball game. And on the throw, the quarterback threw him the ball before he had even turned around. When he did turn around, the ball was already over his head. So if I'm Odell Beckham Jr.
Let me say this. I agree with you in reference to that, okay? Because I think they're two separate issues. I agree with you. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that they can't get him the ball. I can definitely see why he's frustrated. It's obvious, okay? And then the other issue is shut up.
Listen.
Don't talk about it to the media. Bitch about it to Gettleman. Go talk to Eli about it. Work it out.
What's he supposed to say? You want him to say no comment?
No, what's the question? How about this? I'm Odell. Go ahead, ask me the question. What's the question?
The question that they asked Odell.
Go ahead.
Was what happened today?
Is that how when he answered the question about Shermer's game plan? That was the question he got asked.
I don't know the exact question, but we know what the question was. The question was, what happened on the field today? Because
we didn't execute. We didn't execute. As a team, we didn't execute. We had a game plan that we thought would help us win the game. We started off strong, and we didn't play a full 60 minutes. And in the end, as a team, we came up short.
Nah, he wants the head coach to answer for it, and quite honestly, I don't blame him because the head coach is an idiot.
Well, there you go, bro, and that's awesome, and that's exactly the attitude that it's in the locker room that you want your leader to have. That the head coach is an idiot. You're going to win a lot of games like that.
No. Odell Beckham doesn't think that the coach is an idiot. That's not what he said.
I think he does. I think he does think the coach is an idiot.
Listen, let me be clear. I'm not saying that Odell Beckham said the coach is an idiot. I'm saying the coach is an idiot.
No, I understand that. But what else was insinuated by Odell's comment?
What Odell Beckham said was
a sharp guy.
What Odell Beckham Jr. said was, "Hey, look, I don't want to answer that question because I don't know. You're going to have to ask the head coach about why they couldn't get me the ball because I was open." Yeah, I don't have a problem with that because the head coach should have to answer for that. And you know what else the head coach should have to answer for? You know what else he should have to answer for?
His diva wide receiver.
Why is your team not prepared for situational football?
Oh my God!
Why on 3rd and 18 is your quarterback calling a timeout to avoid the game?
Hey guys, what's the constant? Because doesn't it seem like it's been this problem with the last 3 coaches?
Well, Tom's time was running out. That's what Tom's problem was.
No, but by the way,
hold on though. Even in the Coughlin era, there were games and times where we were like, "What the fuck was that?"
Shout out to Tom Coughlin, by the way, who has clearly learned from his stint with the New York Giants, and just completely this week was just like, you know what? I'm scrapping the whole thing. I'm benching the quarterback. I'm firing the offensive coordinator.
I'm going after the media. Did he snap at the media?
Wait.
Do it.
How? Oh my God, I'm tongue-tied. How closely have you been following Jacksonville, like since the firing and the benching?
Not too. I can't say. I thought I read something that he snapped at the media, or that he's like He just went at them in reference to what the decisions that were made, and then I didn't see anything else.
What and they
haven't hired an offensive coordinator, right?
He's going to do it. I'm going to write this ship. I'm going to go down and run it.
But
Give me Cody Kessler and a couple of running backs.
But there's.
We're going to do it.
Did you guys see the picture of Ben McAdoo in Jacksonville the day what's his name was fired?
Oh, no way.
Swear to God.
No way.
It's all over on Instagram, yeah.
Oh, man.
You want me to send it to you?
United, and it feels so good.
Hold on, let me find it.
Reunited, McAdoo was misunderstood.
I didn't.
All he wanted was a QB with some quick feet, and Mara wouldn't give it to her. We could have had Mahomes.
And you know what's gonna be?
By the way,
You know what's
Marco,
gonna
clip
end
that out. That
you know
was
what's
good.
Gonna close that loop? You know what's gonna close that loop?
Hold on here.
Closing that loop is going to be Eli Manning traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars next year. So
Can you imagine?
next year, the Jacksonville Jaguars will have Tom Coughlin, Ben McAdoo, Eli Manning, and Eric Flowers.
No, I think McAdoo is definitely going to be like, no.
How pissed would Ben be if he came back to the office court and Eli's back?
Oh, I think at that point Ben would just like feed himself to an alligator.
All right, I just tagged you guys right there. Benny Mac.
Ben McAdoo feeds himself to crocodile in Jacksonville Swamp after Eli trade.
Oh my God, it's true.
It's true.
Oh, God.
Hold on, I'm going to see it.
It's damn true.
Third angle.
Oh, that is McAdoo.
You know what? That'd be my day. That'd be my day. You know, it's been a rough season, guys, and
Can you
know,
imagine Benny? Benny and the Jags.
I like that one.
Benny. Yeah. Trading for Gino.
That was
Oh, please
that was
bring
awesome.
Gino. Please bring Gino back as well.
Trading for Gino. Benny and the Jags.
All right, so I missed a whole bunch while I was frantically searching for my
Oh God.
charger over here. Otherwise, the whole
Did you hear me sing? Did you hear the reunited? Did you get that?
I got that.
Good. Okay. Good.
Did we touch on?
I like your Benny and the Jags. I like your Benny and the Jags, James.
Benny and the Jags pretty good, right?
Yeah, I like that one.
Benny. All right, cool.
Did we touch on Alex
Keep it in the rotation.
Letta?
No, I don't think we've touched on Kyle yet. No, Cal.
Looks like
Crazy Cal.
they might be doing the same thing that they did last year.
Tanny.
I don't think we're gonna see it, my friends.
This is the one thing that I
Go ahead.
will please thank you, Tom Coughlin, for always only having two quarterbacks. This 3-quarterback crap that's been going on the past couple of years, it just causes drama.
No,
And you're
more
wasting
on
your
coaches
position.
that cause drama, dude. It's the stupid way they run things that cause drama. There shouldn't be any drama. They should come out and say exactly what goes on in these situations. And instead they speak in this coach talk, and then the media gets wind. What they need to do is come out and go, okay, but they don't have the balls to do it because they're still not going to bench Eli Manning. What they should come out and do is say this. All right, there's a natural progression here where we need to see multiple players, unfortunately, because of the way the season is done. It's necessary that we take a look at Tanny as well as Kyle Aletta. Why are we looking at Tanny? Well, because Tanny has been our backup all year in our system. He's served as our backup quarterback. He knows the plays. He knows the offense. He's 31 years old, and we feel that he's earned the right to at least get a start so we can see how he plays with our starters. And in the meantime, since Loletta has not been active whatsoever, we're going to take that time to work him up and get him the second-team rep start so that in the next week or two we can take a look at him and have enough time to evaluate both players before the end of the season. Any questions?
No, what
Wait, hold on. Can I ask you? I want to ask James a question. I thought that was unbelievably well said. Do you?
Thank you.
Yep.
No, I'm being serious. Do you think? Say the Giants heard this and like, listen, this guy has a good mouth on him. Seems to know how to handle questions. Why don't we bring him in? Why don't we hire him? Do you think?
No, because if they listen to the rest of the show, that's not possible.
Yeah. Do you think you will be able to handle just how they spin things, or would it drive you crazy?
I know. I wouldn't give a shit.
Because you're getting paid?
I wouldn't give a shit. I wouldn't. If the Giants were paying me, I would. First of all, I wouldn't have time to even read a tweet about me.
I would
because if the Giants were paying, if the Giants were paying me to put a trophy in the case, the people in my house would be fucking thrilled because I wouldn't be here. I would take me, my dog, I would live in the office, and I would watch film, and I would be with the players, and I would be with the coaches, and I would be preaching a new culture, and I'd forget about it. And I wouldn't give a shit what anybody had to say about me because in my eyes, I would be thinking I was doing the best thing for the colors long term. And not for one individual player or person, but for the franchise.
No. You would just be a mouthpiece. You wouldn't have any sort of on what goes on in the football field.
Like a public, they wanted me to be Pat Hanlon?
Exactly. You think you could do it?
Oh yeah. Now we're having fun. Well, that would be a better job. Yes, I would do that. Because then my job would be to go at people all day, and I could definitely do that. We've seen that.
What? Going back to the quarterback thing, I think what Tim is saying and what's an interesting point is why do we have if you're the New York Giants and you've committed to Eli Manning, right? You've decided we're not drafting a quarterback for better or worse. Eli's our guy. If it gets to the point where you have to play the backup quarterback, one of two things has happened. Either, and let's be honest, it's really just one thing. The quarterback is hurt because we're 3-8 and they're talking about bringing Eli back next year. So if you're playing the backup quarterback, the quarterback is hurt. And if the quarterback is hurt, I hate to tell you, Giants fans, Alex Tanney isn't taking us where we want to go. Even if you want to give him a shot.
Can I say something? I think Alex Tanney would be a shit more fun to watch than Eli Manning. Just gonna throw it out.
At this point, I would say yes.
I agree with you 100%.
Sign me up for Tanney. Put Tanney in on Sunday. Tanney ho.
I agree with you 100%. But what I'm saying to you is, if you're the Giants and you're in a situation where you have to play the backup quarterback, playing Alex Tanney over Kyle Lauletta or Davis Webb accomplishes nothing because if you have to play the backup quarterback, the season's over anyway. So get rid of the middleman and just have the rookie taking the backup snaps and ready to go. Because if you get to the point where you have to play the games that matter, the season's over anyway. So,
Justin, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Here's where Tom was awesome, though. Think about it. Those years where Tom was doing it was there was Eli, there was like the hefty lefty back there, or it was Eli and Ryan Nassib. Or, that was about it for years.
Yeah, but Eli was good then.
The one Super Bowl year, didn't we have three quarterbacks, though? Didn't we have Eli? Didn't we have Nassib? And didn't we have what was that guy's name? He was the quarterback. He had a cup of coffee in Dallas. His last name was Wright. He wore number 2.
I don't think anybody made the active roster. I thought it was a lot of. They put a lot of practice squad players and.
Here's the thing. Okay, they failed. Mm-hmm. They failed last year, and they failed this year, And they failed by thinking that they had a shot and that Eli is the guy. And they still apparently think that Eli is the guy and possibly going into next year. So really, I mean, it doesn't matter.
All right.
Who we see and when we see him.
How do we save the franchise? That's what I want to talk.
They could have very easily have had Loletta to the point where he could have been active for the last couple of games by this point. Just like last year, they could have had if they would have recognized the situation earlier, they could have done what was necessary to get Webb up to speed to be active a little earlier in the season. Both years they have not done that. We are late in the season now. The clock is ticking. And both guys should be ready to go, and they're not. And both guys, Webb should have been ready to go at this point last year. Loletta should be ready to go at this point this year, and they're not. So who's that on?
They cut Webb. You know what? It really bothers me they cut Webb because I really think Webb could have done something.
Well, at least Webb threw the fucking ball. I think that Webb probably wasn't going to be he would have been an interception machine. There would have been games that he looked really good and games that he looked terrible. He has a little Matty Stafford in him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's a slinger, right? But I think Webb would have been. I think they would have probably maybe they have one more win, maybe they have the same amount of wins, but then there's always the hope that Webb can get better because he's so young.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's the thing is when you have a quarterback that's 22 and how about Darnold 20, 21. These guys that's babies. Mm-hmm. So yeah, all right, you look at them this year and either one of them, you could say Rosen, you could say Allen, you could think in your eyes because when we look at it and the Polaroid crew sees it and they see the snapshot of what's going on right now, what they see is they go, oh, wow, well, he's hurt. Or, wow, they say he regressed. Or what they don't see is that this guy busted his ass, and he has 11 games worth of experience now. Could possibly come back and play another couple of games and then use all that film to go into the next offseason and try to get better. And the odds are there won't be much progression for an entire season, even next year. And then you'll start to see in year 3 and 4 that the game will start to slow down and his body will start to get stronger and the game will start to get slower, especially if he's in a system that's the same system for 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So quarterbacks are different. You can't evaluate right now on a young kid that age.
I know. That's why I didn't get the whole bringing in Tanny and letting Davis Webb go. What is Tanny? This is his 12th team.
I'm on
another team.
The scary part is you're right. They should have kept Webb and Loletta and let them continue to battle it out. But here's the thing, and I think this is the problem. I think that they're afraid to have somebody legitimately behind Eli Manning that the press can call for, because you can't tell me that if Webb wasn't on this team right now, that 3 weeks ago the press would have been screaming for Davis Webb to play.
Exactly. Yeah, of course they would have. Absolutely right.
Right? And the Giants completely avoided that situation by just cutting him.
And they're already
after they built him up to be the second quarterback the whole year long.
Right, but the press is already pressuring them on getting Kyle Loletta in there, and they're trying to get out front of it and being like,
because it's backfired.
Alex Tanny in here,
They had their out where if they would have just kept Webb, they could have very easily transitioned and made sense and even sold it as we thought we had something in Webb.
Yep.
We didn't take Darnold and shit. Don't be mad at us, man. Be mad at Webb. We thought this kid was in the fucking building the whole time. He was Eli's shadow. Eli loved him, right? Eli gave him his blessing. The guy you love.
Yeah.
But here he is. We're giving him to you. We drafted Barkley, and we're giving you Davis Webb. And if Webb blows, he blows. But you could have at least sold that and came into this season where if Eli shit the bed, now you're playing Webb. And now, as Giant fans, I'd be fired up this season if we were 2 starts into Webb's career. And even if they lost both of those games, I'd be fired up for each game the rest of the year to see how he progresses, and especially with the young talent around him. At least, but now it's like you're just treading water and going nowhere.
I think you hit the point right in the head. With Webb, we would have had excitement left. even if we start Loletta, there's at least excitement left for us to see what we got.
Intrigue, hope.
Exactly.
Chad Kelly, can you hear me?
Alex Tanny, we know, is not our future. We know it. There's no way in hell Alex Tanny, I don't care what he did at the end of the season, would be our starter next year.
No, not at all.
So it's like,
Not at all.
why bother? Why is he even on the roster at this point?
Well, it's like the Geno thing, and it's really the only way that you can make a case for playing Geno or playing Tanny is to just have respect for the guy on the roster, that he's been the backup the entire season, and if you're going to make a change to quarterback, that it has to be a chess move to get to the young kid, because you've put yourself in that position by not having the kid up to speed and being active already. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. I think you failed by not having the kid ready. But you can't just go from scout team to starter. Like, you have to have a week of preparation as the starter, or 2 weeks, and get ready serve as the backup 1 week, getting ready for the following week, and give the guy behind him before he hits hot in a meaningless season his due for being the backup the entire season. And I think that's where a lot of Giant fans lost the point last year with Geno, is they looked at it as a disrespecting as opposed to saying it's just a natural progression to the next step.
Well, the thing that bothered me the most was, let me ask you guys this question. And I know you guys watched all the preseason stuff. Did Alex Tanny outplay Loletta? No. Did Alex Tanny even play out Davis Webb?
No.
No. And that doesn't mean that Webb and Loletta were outstanding. I mean, they both had ups and downs. There were flashes where Webb looked good, and there were flashes where he looked awful. There were flashes when Loletta looked good. There were flashes when Loletta looked awful. So, and that's to be expected from a young QB. You tolerate those things with a young quarterback. You expect them, because the goal isn't that they're going to be good right off the bat. The goal is that it's, okay, he threw a pick six. He's going to learn from that. And he had a rough game with 2 picks, and he completed 43% of his passes. But he's going to learn from that, and down the road it's going to serve him better. And you can live with that as a fan base.
Exactly. With Alex Tanny, he is what he is. He's 31 years old. Can he get a little bit better? Possibly. But he probably is what he is at this point.
Can he catch lightning in a bottle like Cody Kessler and give you a good season in a pinch? Probably, maybe. You never know. Craziest shit has happened, right? But long term, you're not going to hit your wagon, Alex Tanny.
And that's my point. What are you going to do?
Here's the thing about it too, and this is something that's very, very real, and that is that the best thing that could happen for this franchise right now, quite honestly, and if lightning strikes my house, it was nice knowing you guys. The best thing that could happen to this franchise right now is if Eli Manning goes out and pulls a hamstring Sunday against Chicago, running away from.
He can't pull a hamstring when you don't run.
Trying to run away from.
Khalil Mack.
He pulls a hamstring, because then it forces the Giants. Then he can't play, and right now there's a sect of the fan base.
Chad Kelly, can you hear me?
That I know this. My dad, one of my dad's best friends from high school, is on this train, and he pollutes my Facebook on a daily basis, saying that he's ride or die with Eli Manning, and Eli Manning will tell him when he's ready to be done playing.
Okay.
And that shit is scary.
But Eli Manning has been telling him. I don't get them.
Don't get them. Is the friend of your dad's John Mara?
No. I'm going to keep his name out of it to protect his innocence.
No. But, keep his name out of it. I thought it might have been a Mara, though.
No, it's not a Mara.
It sounds Mara-ish.
Is it a Tish?
Is it a Tish?
It's not a Mara. But, I mean, think about this, guys. I read this today. Tell me what you think about this. But when I thought about it, I thought this could be a possibility. So, Eli Okay? Let's think about this. If they're thinking about bringing him back next year, and they know because of conversations that Eli doesn't want to go anywhere. He wants to retire a New York Football Giant.
And he can do that this offseason.
If they cut him next year, like if they cut him, they save $17 million. And like Jimmy said, this roster does have quite a bit of need. I mean, that fact, just because we disagree on the Saquon Barkley pick doesn't mean that I don't see that the roster has quite a few needs. So that $17 million would be useful. So if they are in a scenario where they're thinking about, geez, it would be really nice to free up that $17 million that we would save by cutting Eli. Like if they're honestly thinking about that, and if Eli shits the bed over the next 5 games, they're gonna be there. But they've also gone on record and said that they don't want to replace him unless they have the replacement on the roster. So, is there a scenario where they go to Eli next year and they say, "Listen, redo your deal, make it instead of the 1 year that you have left, make it 3, reduce your cap number, and then we not only have him next year, but the year after too, until we draft his replacement." Like, this could go on for a while if they're as committed to Eli Manning as we think they are.
It's the truth.
Justin wants to perpetuate the problem and just say, hey, guys, I know Eli's the problem now, but just think about it. It could be another 2 years before we take care of this problem. There's no way that's going to happen. I think Eli's got enough pride. Will he retire this year? I doubt it. Is he going to retire after? He's not going to get an extension from the Giants. He's not.
Well, one can make a case that that Barkley, doesn't play, with an actual NFL ready quarterback at least for the first 5 to 6 years of his NFL career. Because if Eli hangs around for the next 2 years and then you draft a quarterback, that quarterback's not going to step in and be ready to play right away. So that quarterback's going to need a year or two to get his feet underneath him. And now you're looking at Barkley's in year 6. He has 2,000 touches on his legs. Oh, what an awful and he's in need of a new deal where he's probably getting paid $18 million a year.
Not a sure coach, because Wayne Gallman will be in there.
Here's the thing, though, and Pat Shermer, Giants brass, I hope you're listening. Maybe we can leave this on a voicemail for them next week.
They're listening.
I don't care who the quarterback is next year. I don't care what his qualifications are in terms of if you think that he's NFL ready, as long as he's not Eli Manning. So if that's
I made the prediction 3 weeks ago. Get ready for it, buddy.
Teddy B.
If that's Kyle Lauletta with nothing, with no experience, if that's the replacement that you take from this year's draft, in the first and second round, just start the kid with no NFL experience. It's better than this Eli Manning thing. And let me explain why. Because Eli Manning no longer understands basic things like time and score. Okay? 3rd and 18 on your own side of the field in the second half, and you're burning a timeout to come back out and throw a check down. I almost took a shot at the stadium. I almost sent my wife out to get a beer. I was like, honey, that's a check down. I need a shot for the crew.
Your shot.
And then, at the end of the half, you have to get points there. Throwing it, even if Odell Beckham was wide open in man-to-man coverage, Saquon Barkley ran a little curl on the left side. There was no one within 10 yards of him. You get it down to a chip shot for a guy that's missed one field goal all season. Shout out Aldrick Rosas.
One of our favorite players now.
Who's very well hydrated.
Understand time and score. I'll tell you the other thing that made me mad at the game as it happened was the timeout that Shermer took on defense on 4th and 2. Because it legitimately burned another 40 seconds off the clock.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if they get the first down there, from there they're running 3 straight plays, you're probably getting the ball back with 50 seconds to a minute left and no timeouts. But you're still only down 3. It's 25-22. So you tell Corey Coleman, take a knee, you get the ball at the 25, and then you only have to go 40 yards to get into field goal range to tie the game with 50 seconds. It's not likely, but I sure as hell feel better about going 40 yards in 50 seconds with no timeouts than I do going 60 yards in 19 seconds with no timeouts.
I think that people need to. Everybody's like, "Oh, this is Shermer's first year. It's his first year." It's really not, because Shermer was in Cleveland. I mean, he was the head coach of Cleveland. So you would hope that these mistakes that you're seeing, you could see if they were a rookie head coach. This is a second, second go around. And
hold on a second though.
Yikes.
You're not even going to give him. I'm not even going to give him that. Listen, I could get an 8-year-old that plays Madden on the daily to manage my timeouts and 2-minute warnings. Oh, hell, we could send them. You know what we should do, Marco? You know what we should do? Send them one of the interns. Stamp up one of the interns and say, "Hey, look, here you go. This is your gift from Bleedbigblue.com. We apologize for the issue with the previous punter. He'll manage your clock. He plays Madden all the time."
Take the timeout now.
You know what?
Challenge play here.
I'm glad you brought that point up, Justin. This is going out to the intern show. I listen to you. You guys frustrate me. You guys frustrate me. I just want to put it out. The views and thoughts on that show have nothing to do with this one.
Yeah. Well, you're going to sit here and tell me that Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Joe Montana and Tom Brady because, and I quote J-Zac, rings mean nothing.
Wait, was that actually said? I did this week's intern show. Was that?
I swear, may God strike me down. May God strike me down.
What was his reasoning?
I went purposely because Tim said something, and I was because I would never listen to that ever.
I listened to 10 minutes, and it fired me
Tim
up
was
for half an hour.
Something that made Tim so aggravated. I was like, I got to hear this. So I went and I randomly like hopped through the show and got more infuriated for every time that I randomly stopped through it. And then I got to one point where J-Zac was talking about Aaron Rodgers, and he literally was like, Aaron Rodgers he's the greatest quarterback of all time. I don't want to hear about Brady. It brings me nothing. And then even Dean was like, what about Montana? He's like, Montana. He was so much better than Montana. He was like, what about all those rings? Like, rings mean nothing.
And then there was the argument of Eli. Is Eli a Hall of Famer?
Oh, that's I don't think he's a first ballot, but he's definitely a Hall of Famer.
He's absolutely a Hall of Famer. He's in the top 10 in most pass categories in the NFL right now.
If Joe Namath is in the Hall of Fame, Eli Manning's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly. Eli's a Hall of
Bottom
Famer,
line.
not first ballot, but he'll get in.
Ingrid's in the Hall of Fame. Eli's in the Hall
Not
of Fame.
first ballot, but yes, he's a Hall of Famer. I agree with you, Mark.
Yeah. But I will tell you this. I will tell you this. He's putting a hurting on his legacy, though.
Yeah, he is. The record 100%. Is.
Well, I think we talked about this. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, right?
His record as a starter is going to be under 500 for his career.
Yeah, we get it. I get it. But here's the thing, though, is like when you, it's going to be Eli's going to be a tricky one, right? But when you look at it, like I think that you're going to look at him now at the end of his career, and you're going to see him a certain way. And I think that they don't vote for the Hall of Fame for 4 or 5 years after the guy's been retired for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you are able to separate the end of the career and that last vision of the player, and then separate 4 or 5 years from now, and then say, okay, let's revisit this guy's career when the ending isn't fresh in your head, and you're able to sit back and look at the numbers. I think his total numbers outweigh the fact that he's going to have a negative under 500 record. I don't think he's going to be in as a Hall of Famer on the first ballot. I don't think he'll be unanimously voted in. But I do think that he will get in probably on the second go-round.
And the biggest stat that no one talks about was the streak last year, which is literally just the amount of games that Eli has started in his 15-year career is ridiculous. And just being there is a talent. Being active is a talent. And that separates him from a lot of people. Let's put it this way.
No, I agree with you. You can't take away from what he's done in his career.
Sam Darnold has not played in more games than Eli has already.
Right. He's
okay. Yeah.
Factually correct.
No, but we can't. If you're gonna, there's 2 ways to evaluate Eli. There's 2 separate ways. There's evaluating his play right now as we speak, and then there's evaluating his career. And those are 2 separate conversations. And when you evaluate his career, there are negatives when you evaluate his career, but there's a lot of positives as well. And the positives outweigh those negatives.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, 100%. But right now, ugh.
Yeah, Mr. No Arm.
Well, and
it's some of the few things that you'll see here on the Intern show. So if you want to get frustrated, please tune in for them. And and you don't give them help. You know what? This is I don't really listen to our show, but I fully endorse you guys trolling them all show long.
Hold on,
what I may do is if they go on Discord, can't we just hop in the voice call thing? Like even if they don't let us, if they don't know about it, can we just hop in and be like, "You're wrong," and then get out?
You guys can, yeah.
Awesome.
That's what we should do.
Wrong.
All I do is go to chat rooms. All I do is go to chat rooms and try to start shit.
Man, it's your mother. Turn the fan down.
Listen. When you talk about Eli Manning's career, to me, the best game that Eli Manning ever played, the best game that he ever played,
that Eagle game last year,
was
the Eagle game first half this year.
The 2011 NFC Championship against San Francisco. Because he threw the ball 60 times in that game, and he got murdered. Like, he got slammed.
I'll tell you.
Times he'd get up, and he was looking outside of his ear hole, but he got up after every play, and he was confident, and he was ready to step in there and make the next throw. And I thought about that game when I was at the Eagles game on Sunday, because what I realized was that once Eli threw that pick against in the first half to Malcolm Jenkins, you could see him deflate. And when he deflated, you could see the rest of the offense go.
Yep.
There
you go.
When he deflates, Odell Beckham goes, and then Sterling Shepard goes, and then when they fall behind, they forget to hand the ball to the best player on our team, Saquon Barkley. And it just disappeared. And it reminded me of, like when you play in Madden and you throw one pick, and so then on the next drive, you automatically throw a pick the following drive because, they lower their rating. And once he threw the pick, everything was deflated and he was done. And in 2011, that wouldn't have happened. Eli would have just stepped up and made the next throw.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
I don't mean to go off topic, but this is something that's bothering me. What's the deal with Evan Ingram? What do we do with this kid?
They should
Not
trade
use
him.
them.
They should
The
trade
trade
him
deadline passed.
Because here's the deal. Rhett Ellison does his job better than he does.
I understand Ellison's a better blocker, and I guess that's the main reason.
No,
he's
I'm
playing.
not talking about the blocking. I'm talking about stretching the seams down the field.
Oh, he's actually catching the ball. Yeah, I know.
Shermer's quotes today were that
You saw it.
Shermer,
What was the game where he broke open? We were doing the game live, Justin, the Tampa Bay game.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw the mismatch he could be, and to think that you can't utilize that in some way, shape, or form is mind-boggling.
Why wouldn't you put him? Let's put it this way. Okay, let's say he's not the greatest tight end as far as blocking. Throw him in as an H-back. Just put him.
Like just use it.
Move around.
Create mismatches. Just think outside the box. And here's the thing about Barkley and the touches, and sometimes the threat of the great player, sometimes him not having the ball is one of the most dangerous plays for the defense to defend, because if you're faking it to him and the threat of him having the ball needs to be defended, then you can do other things as well in reference to play action and misdirection and keep the defense off balance in a number of different ways. And when you have Odell Beckham Jr. and Saquon Barkley, you should be able to do that without a problem. But when you don't have a quarterback that can make the plays or the throws consistently, it's a waste.
That's right. Ding the bell, Marco. Ding the bell.
Yep. And something that we even talked about before the season. You want to put Wayne Gallman out there? I have no problem, because I think Wayne Gallman's actually pretty good. And he needs to touch the ball. But why don't you put Gallman out there with Barkley? Put Gallman out there with Barkley. The threat of either one could catch it or run it.
I was not upset that Barkley. I was not upset that Gallman got a series. And I could understand with the incompletions why Barkley didn't get the ball, because when it comes down to it, I can see the problem. And the problem is Eli Manning. So, I mean, I don't know. We're gonna have the same conversation weekly. And for as much as I want Barkley to get the ball every friggin' play, is it really in the kid's best interest in a 3-8 season to get the ball 30 times a game at this point, knowing that you're going to need him again next year?
Well, that's very true.
We can make the argument left, right, and center, and go all day about it. But the bottom line becomes, in a game like that against those cornerbacks who are off the street, your 15-year veteran quarterback who's making $22 million. The coaching staff was terrified of putting the ball in his hands against those corners. Terrified.
That tells you everything you need to know. Tells you everything you need to know.
Now that we're 3-8, and now that Shermer, because like you said, Jimmy, he reads all the press clippings, right? He's gonna read, and he's gonna see all these things on ESPN about Saquon's lack of touches. And you can bet your ass Saquon's getting 25 touches next week. Guaranteed. But we're already 3-8.
Yep.
So what are you doing?
Well, last game should have been all hands on deck. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to win the game. And that was not the case.
You're exactly right, Tim. And the mindset should have been, we're going to do everything we can do to win the game. And the way that this team is currently structured, the best way to win the game is to hand the ball to Saquon Barkley 30 times.
That's
the best way to win.
I got a fear that this week is going to be ugly, and I don't care who quarterbacks for Chicago. I just can see like after that loss.
I feel for you. I feel for Eli because I think Mac's going to kill him. I mean, it's.
Yeah, I think they may be in for a long day. I mean, you're talking about a team that's nasty and is playing for something.
I'll take it a step further. You want me to look into the future, James? I'll look into the future like this. We're 3-8. There's nothing left to accomplish. You let Saquon Barkley break the rookie records for touchdowns, right? And then, I read in the news today that Jonathan Stewart is practicing and he's ready to go if the Giants need him. You know what, John?
I saw that too.
You know what, John? This is when we need you. You know what I need you to do? I need you to take carries so that we don't burn out our rookie running back and crush him going into next season. So you want to take one for the team?
It's going to be a fun last couple of games, gentlemen.
For curiosity's sake, guys.
Hand off to Stewart.
I know you guys are watching. I know you guys are watching the college football season or the end of it. We're probably going to have, let's say, around about fifth pick right now. Anybody that you're in on that you're like, I hope this kid comes to be a Giant?
I'll tell you who I'm in on. 100%.
Herbert.
Wow. I'm assuming we're not going to get Herbert because I'm assuming Herbert's going to Oakland because John Gruden wants Herbert. So, assuming we don't get Herbert, this is the guy I'm in on 100%. And this is a guy that I think could theoretically drop to us. His name is Ed Oliver. Because Ed Oliver is starting to get a little bit of attention in the media that's a little nasty. It's going to come out that he's a me first guy. Sign me up for that guy all day long because he is a monster.
You know what? One of the guys I kind of want. I know they won't draft him at that high, but I want Devin White, LSU middle linebacker. I would like.
Jimmy loves linebacker.
Yeah, I wouldn't draft 1 to 5 though. Unless it's an outside linebacker that can get to the quarterback.
I mean, and honestly, I don't want Bosa. I don't want Bosa.
No, I don't want Bosa.
He's injury prone, just like his brother. And the fact that he gave up on the season the second he got injured, he's like, nah, I'm done. I'm just going to the draft. I don't like that.
It's smart.
Well, it is smart. It is a smart move, man.
I can't blame him for
You're
that.
guaranteed a top 5 pick. Why wouldn't you do it?
I can't blame him for that. I mean, that's a business decision, man. I mean, you would have made we all would have made the same friggin' decision.
Yeah, we all.
Yeah,
I agree.
And it was no coincidence that after Herbert, all of a sudden he took a spill and came down on his shoulder or something happened a couple of weeks ago, and then a couple of days later, all of a sudden the rumor came out that he was looking for an NFL agent. So like looking for an agent. So I don't. I mean, let's use. And again, if you want to play with your brother, I could totally respect that. But it's a violent game, even at the college level. And one bad hit, and you're never in that opportunity again. So I could respect them in that situation.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of guys sitting out bowl games this year. A lot of guys just sitting out bowl games.
It's a shame.
Yeah, it's sad where it's going, but that's I can't. It's their business, and I can totally understand it.
It's a ruthless business, dude.
It is
a ruthless business.
Do you guys want my number one interaction with an Eagle fan at the link on Sunday?
Yes.
Yes.
So, first of all, so we're coming up to the stadium, and it's my wife's first game. She's never been to an NFL game. And so she says to me, we have to wear our Giant stuff.
And that's the game you bring her to. Awesome.
And I said, you know, I've worn Giant stuff to Philly before, and they took some shots at my manhood that I'll never forget.
Just it was scarred.
And so I said to her, I was like, "Are you sure? Like, because if you're in it with me, you know, and we're both wearing Giant stuff, as long as you know, like, not to agitate the bear,
Right, shit is coming.
we're good." Right. And so she was like, "Yeah, I want the full experience." And I was like, "Oh, you're gonna get the full experience. We're wearing Giant stuff in at the lake, right?" So when you go to
I
the
can
lake,
just see Justin be like, "Damn it, I can't be a man. I don't want to put my jersey on, but she's making me." Pretty much call me a pussy. Call me a pussy.
So when you go to the link, before you even get to the point where they scan your ticket, you have to go through a metal detector, right? So, and
Philadelphia.
as we've talked about on the show numerous times, your boy, I use a titanium wheelchair. So I have trouble with metal detectors in most cases. So
And you got your Giant jersey on. Bad deal.
Right. So I see the metal detector, right? And it's like 15 minutes before the game, right? So there's a little bit of a line there, but I also know that they're going to have to call somebody to give me an actual physical pat down, and we're going to have to wait for that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're coming up, right? And so I'm in my Odell Beckham jersey, I'm wearing a Giants baseball hat, and I'm wearing a leather coat, open. My wife is wearing a Giants beanie, and she has blue and red eye makeup on, and she's beaming. She's happy to be at the game. Couldn't be
Radiant.
proud of her in that moment.
Beautiful.
She's ready to go.
Sexy.
Right. So we go up to the metal detector, and I see these two quintessential Philadelphia Eagle fans, and I can just tell that the one guy that, of course, is going to be next to us in line is just, you can tell from 100 yards away, he's bombed, right? He's like, sort of, he has that permanent sway going, you know, even when, you know, the room's not really moving, he's swaying back and forth.
He's got that I drank my breakfast look.
Right. And he looks at me. It's like 12:40, and he looks at me, and he can see me coming, and he gets this grin on his face, and he goes, "Well, I would yell at you, but you're in a fucking wheelchair." and his buddy looks at me, and he gives me the hand sign that he's been drinking, and I gave him a hand signal to sort of wave him off. I was like, I've heard worse, whatever. So this guy continues, and my wife is just enthralled by this guy that's what he would lead with. And she's like texting me, "Does this happen all the time?" And I'm like, "Yes, it does. This is like, you're getting the Philly experience within 2 minutes."
You're not even.
He continues to say, he's like, "And let me tell you, I know something about being in a wheelchair because my buddy got hit by a bus and he's a paraplegic." And my wife was just like, "This is insane, right?" So at that point, I can hear in the stadium, they start like calling something for the game, right? And I'm trying to pay attention because I want to hear what's going on. So I kind of turned off the guy that was talking to me, and I'm trying to pay attention to what's going on in the stadium. But he's still talking.
You wouldn't have it. You wouldn't have it.
Because he still wants to talk. So he's still yapping, right? And my wife is And I'm not hearing a word he's saying at this point because I'm locked in to the public address announcer. And he turns to my wife, who's standing behind me, and she's like,
looking beautiful,
using my my push rails. You know what those are, Jimmy? You've seen me before. She's standing.
Yeah, I've seen your rails.
She's leaning on my push rails, right? And he turns to my wife.
I love your push rails.
Sounds
He turns to my wife. He puts both hands on her shoulder, proceeds to give her a back rub, and it's like, "You have beautiful eyes." And that's the point when I took him, and I was like, "Buddy, I'm sitting right here." And
oh my God!
Don't think that I won't. And he was like, "Oh, I didn't mean to." And I was like, "Just take your Eagles wearing jersey and get out of my face." And my wife thought it was the greatest thing ever because she was like, "Are those Philly people?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's Philly fans."
Mm-hmm.
And then later, she at halftime she went to go use the restroom, and when she came back, she said, "When I went out to use the restroom, some guy pointed at me because he saw that I was wearing the Giants beanie, and he just said, 'Fuck the Giants.'" And I was like, "Is that all he said? That's what you got out with? You did pretty good."
Yeah, that's not bad. You just basically give him a thumbs up and keep going at that point.
Right. So,
Fucking
Philly fans, we
Philadelphia.
love you. You're one of a kind.
The memories.
I'd
yell at
so
you that
happy
you're in
that
a
it took
fucking
2
wheelchair.
minutes.
You just did yell at me.
Right. It took 2 minutes
You motherfucker.
for us to experience.
Whoa. And he knows what it's like being in his wheelchair because he has a friend that was in a wheelchair.
Okay.
Yeah, hit by a bus.
Yeah, that got hit by a bus. And I was like, I got the palsy, dude. It's different.
Oh my God.
It's that different.
Wait, how are your seats?
Seats were amazing. So one of the things, and fellas, we should take full advantage of this. I don't know why I didn't think of this previously. But one of the things about my situation is that I can go to a sporting event like an NFL game, and I can buy any ticket in the house. And if I buy it and it's not handicap accessible, if I take it to customer service, they will upgrade me and whoever I'm with to a handicap accessible seat.
Well, isn't that something to know?
Well, look at this new information we got here.
Your situation. Yeah, you're saying we could pimp you out, pretty much.
Yep.
Sure. So
I'd pimp you out. I have no problem with that.
I bought a ticket in section 239, so up in the 200 level, the upper bowl. Right, we get in the building after being accosted by the drunk Eagles fan. Right, and it's probably like 12. It's probably like 12:50, right? And so I'm trying to hustle. I want to get to where I need to go as soon as possible. And so it's been like 6 years since I've been to the link. And so I asked the gentleman at the elevator, I was like, where's the customer service desk where I can go to get my seats upgraded? And there are like 4 of them, and depending on where your ticket is, that's where you're supposed to go. So theoretically, they should have sent me to the ticket upgrade center in the 200 level. But the guy at the elevator was like, there's one in section 136. So I just headed there because that's where he told me to go. And because it was so close to kickoff and they didn't want me to miss a play, they gave me the seat in section 136, which is lower level right underneath the press box. when my ticket clearly said section 239. So I got a serious seat upgrade. Shout out to the elevator attendant at the link for not checking my ticket properly. Kudos to you, sir. And we enjoyed the game. I had great seats.
Nice.
You get very cheap seats for the Giants. I can tell you that much. Because one's buying.
One last thing about handicap accessible seats. At the original Giant Stadium, I looked into getting seats there once, and when I called them to tell them about my situation and to see where I should be buying tickets, in the open market, they said, because we're not technically handicapped accessible,
Wow.
we give seats away to people in wheelchairs. So all you have to do is show up with you and one guest, and we'll give you 2 seats for free. And I said,
that's the old stadium.
I said, at the old stadium.
Right.
And I said, are we sure on that? And he was like, well, let me check. And I was like, well, who are you checking with? He was like, my supervisor. And I was like, can I be on that call? So I explained the whole thing to the supervisor. And he was like, yeah, that's our policy. We're not handicap accessible, and we don't want to be sued. So we just give the best seats we have away for free. And I was like, well, I'll take that.
I'll show up every game.
Yeah.
Here I am, guys.
So,
You just get yourself a season ticket holder.
New stadium.
I'm about to go buy a wheelchair.
It's cheaper to buy seats. Fuck it.
I'm about to go buy a wheelchair. So,
At the
what's your
new stadium,
condition?
they don't
I'm
do
just
that.
lazy and cheap.
No, I'm sure Justin has a spare. He could lend you.
I'm just lazy
I
and
gotta talk
cheap.
to the lazy.
That's my condition.
I gotta touch the lazy.
I
can only use my leg.
had a big meal before I showed up.
I'm paralyzed by watching the human lard that is Eli Manning.
Kid,
Yeah.
the old Giant Stadium, they had that the walk down escalator, not escalator, the stairs that was a spiral.
Yep.
Kid, no,
Yeah.
of course it wasn't wheelchair accessible. That thing is like a death trap. All right, everyone,
It was.
everyone exit here. We're just
I remember that game. So the game that we went to at Old Giant Stadium, it was like the second to last game before it closed. It was against the Eagles. We lost the game late, but it was tight. If you guys remember, we had seats in one of the end zones, but it was going the opposite way. And in the fourth quarter, Manningham couldn't keep his feet on the sideline. Caught a ball in the end zone, but it was determined that he had stepped out while running his route.
2-minute warning.
Back to touchdown. That's the only thing that I remember from that game. The rest, I covered up with copious amounts of alcohol.
My last game at the old stadium was the game where they clinched home field advantage before the 2000 Super Bowl that they lost to Baltimore. They played Jacksonville, and Seahorn ran back the fucking onside kick to clinch it.
I remember that
game. It
game.
was great. I was like 6
Wasn't
rows
that
back. It was
That was the game that was rescheduled
90
because of
seconds.
9/11, right?
I believe it was, yes.
all right. We got 90 in this piece. 90 seconds, gentlemen. It's been real.
All right.
What's going on
It's
Sunday? You want to try to do a little things this Sunday?
I'm down, dude. I had fun the last time we did it. I thought, Justin, I think the way we did it, Justin, do you agree? We killed it, I thought, last time.
We had a good time. It was fun.
Yeah, I must say that
I think
it's well requested.
60 seconds.
When we didn't do it, I got a lot of messages.
has it been?
What's going on? Yeah. Yeah.
Then we give the people what they want.
Give the
We
people
do
what
give
they
the
want.
people what they want. Giants Bears. We will be there for you on Sunday. We'll do the whole thing live.
I
right.
think the only thing we have left to do, gentlemen, in terms of game events, we got to find a way to all watch a game together.
This is correct.
And
it's only been like 4 or 5 years.
and fulfill the fantasy. Was it J-Zach who thought we were all on the same couch?
Yeah, eating chicken wings. All right, gents.
He also thought I was two different people.
he thought
10 seconds.
All right, everyone.
Who's Jimmy?
For Marco, James, Justin,
Bleedbigblue,
Tim,
fellas.
and Jimmy.
Always.
Yep. Bleedbigblue. Always.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.